Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. Want to improve your organization's customer service? Looking for insider tips to knock your customer socks off? Then you're in the right place. Here's your host, Yanique Grant.
Welcome to Navigating the Customer Experience. On today's episode, our guest is Jon Benson. Jon is a copywriter, entrepreneur, and AI pioneer who has worked quietly shaping how the world buys things online. Best known as the inventor of the video sales letter, the format that became the backbone of modern digital marketing, he has spent decades writing words that move people to act not through manipulation, but through what he calls persuasion that feels good on both sides. In 2010, Jon turned his attention to copywriting software, becoming one of the earliest pioneers at the intersection of AI and sales copy. That work eventually evolved into BNSN, a platform trained exclusively on high converting marketing campaigns and built for small businesses and business owners who sell good things to good people. BNSN reflects Jon's core belief that the human element of business, community, coaching, and genuine connection separates sustainable success from a flash in the pan. He runs weekly live coaching sessions inside the Conversion Lab alongside his wife, Alia, a psychologist and success coach. Jon enjoys competitive bodybuilding, playing music, and avoiding the composition of bios. Without further delay, sit back, plug your earphones in, and let's jump right into this awesome conversation with Jon. Welcome, Jon.
Thank you so much. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Now, Jon, could you share with your own words a little bit about your journey with our listeners, how you got from where you were to where you are today?
Sure. I actually started in the graphic design world and I ended up working myself into a near early grave. I had a heart attack at 38 and
What?
yeah, it's kind of crazy. And I ended up obese and really sick and I was working these crazy hours and I decided to go back to my athletic roots when I was after the heart attack and wrote my first book and that became a bestseller on in the digital world on ClickBank and that threw me into the world of internet marketing and copywriting which I never knew anything about at all. Next thing you know, I'm where I am today. So that's how it all started.
Awesome. All right. So could you share with our listeners a little bit about what you do now? I know in your bio we read about it, but maybe just break down, in very simple terms, what it is that you actually do.
So copywriting is like an art and a science, and AI, we've been at the front of this since 2010, so way before AI became even part of the nomenclature of people's conversation. That we have been working with nascent AI companies from about 2015 on, and trying to understand, like teach models how to understand some of the complexities of copywriting. And what we found over the years is that it's very difficult to do, and until recently it was next to impossible to do. So we built our own app called Benson. It's spelled BNSN, but it's pronounced Benson like my last name. It just kind of stuck, and that's
Oh,
special. It's okay. Everyone does it. Don't and yeah, so that became the app that people turn to write really high converting direct response copy as opposed to the chat GPT kind of copy that sounds like it came from AI. So we wanted to the next step and then what we've been doing the last year is fusing human values and into this copy. So we're making more humanized AI because we believe that's super important for not just for copywriting conversions, but for people keeping their core of their humanity and attracting customers they really want to deal with versus just automating everything.
yeah, automation, crazy. So AI it's all over. I just completed an interview just talking about AI as well with another
Mm-hmm.
guest, and it's clearly something that we all use. It's integrated into how we operate, what we do, how we do it.
Mm-hmm.
The first question I'd like to ask you is, how do you believe AI is changing the role of human creativity in business and marketing?
In a good way, it's changing it from the sense that it can throw ideas at you from a collection of ideas that are streamlined over billions of pages and billions of inputs and things of that nature. From a bad perspective, you don't, most of those are bad ideas because most ideas online are not good and most copy online isn't good. So that's true of everything. I mean, most music, and if you put all the music in the world, most of it people wouldn't like, right? So it's the same basic thing. And so from a good position, it gives you lots of ideas and it gives it to you super fast. From a bad thing, it inundates you with a lot of bad ideas, and you have to know how to filter them out. And so what we've done is blend education with software, blend education with AI, to where we coach people live every week to say, okay, here's what's good, here's what's bad, here's what works, here's what you might want to aim for. And there's not necessarily a good or bad. There is a functional and non-functional copy. Functional copy converts, but there's still beyond that, there's functional copy that sounds like you and that resonates and attracts your ideal buyers versus that just attracts anyone and you end up with a bunch of tire kickers and things of that nature. So we want to help people build businesses they love. So we've really integrated the core value marketing into Benson and into what we teach as well. So that's the huge benefit is the speed. And when you apply when you do it the way that we do it with if you go all the way with us, we have a Benson is just the starting point. If you go all the way with us into AI Collective, we work with people on how to automate their entire business flow. So you can go from an idea to a product to a sales letter to everything done in the course of an afternoon. And that was impossible to even conceive as little as 4 months ago. And that's where we're going today. So where the massive block of making things happen is just taken away to where the integration of things, the execution of things can happen almost instantaneously. And that way the human creativity could be freed up and you go, oh, I want to create this and I really see it this way. And that's been a huge like boost to a lot of people that I know, including myself, are just our mental states because we're free to create now and say, okay, we're going to let the technical side of this be handled by the AI quite efficiently, and we can just worry about creating things and adding value to the world, which is awesome.
Yeah, amazing. So that kind of dovetails nicely into my next question. What
Mhm.
elements of creativity do you believe remain uniquely human as AI tools improve?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's really great AI output is rare to see, and when you do see it, it's well, I think what people see when they say, "Oh, this sounds like me," or "This sounds I didn't know this was AI," is they're saying it sounded human. And so what
Mhm.
makes things sound human to me is rapport. And there's a pace that humans talk. There's a cadence that humans have that
Mhm.
certainly Chat GPT and those kind of tools aren't going to have. It kind of screams at you, even if it's subtly. It's the same thing that when you hear AI music, there's something that just feels off. Like you can just feel that this. I know I'm a musician. You can tell by the guitars in the background. But when I hear somebody can say, "Oh, you'll never know this is," yeah, I can tell it's AI. And that's going to change over the years. It will, and hopefully it will change because more emotive structure is being built into the machine, or the machine becomes some level of consciousness. But where that's not there yet, and what we're missing is that consciousness level that we bring to it. So, what is the thing that humans have that you absolutely have to work with anything, whether either another human or with an AI tool to infuse is your consciousness, your ability to have an experience. So the beautiful thing about copywriting for me is I've been able to take the experiences that I've had and say, let me write a story or let me write something around it that can make someone else feel that experience. A
Mhm.
machine has a hard time doing that because a machine doesn't experience. So that's where the human comes in. And if you
Yeah.
blend your humanity with the output, you get this incredibly visceral, elegant way of saying things that can really move people to also take action, which is what you want eventually as a business owner.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, you have, as you mentioned, you've been working in sales copy and you've been working with AI for a period of time, definitely over 10
Hmm.
years.
Hmm.
And you have a lot of experience in this area. If a business owner came to you and they, say wanted to find ways to still be relevant, have AI be part of how they're operating, but at the same time still maintain that level of human.
Mm,
aspects of what they're doing. They're saying, oh, but I don't think we need as many people anymore because,
hmm
I think the AI can do a lot of these jobs. And as a result of that, we can have a lot of things automated. If they were asking for your advice based on your many years of experience and also your ability to have worked with humans as well as with the AI, what would be
hmm
your recommendation to them?
That's another great question. So I'm going to pose it if I can answer it with a question back. Let's say that you
Sure.
had a company with three people and
Hmm.
you were barely getting by. Like there were months that you couldn't even pay one of your people that was just barely scraping by. Most people who have been entrepreneurs have been in that position. I've been in that position. I don't know if you have or not, but a lot of
Yeah.
people have been in that position. So if you back off and you look at that, then the answer a business manager would come in and say, if you could hire a business manager, would say, well, you need to let one of these people go. You need to streamline because there's not enough profit. The business has to make a profit, otherwise it's a charity, and that's fine if you want to run a charity, but you have to have a way to pay for that charity, right? So that's the answer there. Well, you'd have to lay somebody off, right? AI solves that problem. So you could take a three-person company and you could do it with one person or two people.
Hmm.
But look at it another way. What if you could take that same exact company and triple the production of each person in the company? Each person would be triple the production in the same amount of time.
Mm.
What would that do to your revenue? And this is how most people are thinking through this, I think, in an incredibly destructive way. What we are doing here is I have let a developer go because that developer did not want to or could not learn or refused to learn, however you want to phrase it, these AI specific tools, and we
Hmm.
were going too slow. My primary developer will never let go of. He's the most valuable person on my team from a development point of view because not only has he was way ahead of everyone else, he's mastered it. So now the greatest coder is also the greatest AI guy. I'm not going to go to somebody that's a vibe coder that can say, "Oh, I can do this now because AI can code everything for me." Because Ted knows everything about code. He's going to know everything that's wrong and what to ask, and there just he will do it 10 times better than I would, even if I could technically do it, right? And
Hmm.
so I'm naturally going to have this person because he's able to do 10 times the amount of work that he used to be able to do much easier. So that's the way I would look at it for business owners is that if you use these tools properly, you can get 3 to 10 times the amount of work output out of somebody without the additional hours. That's the important thing. It's something I get so much more done in a day. It's not even close to 3 or 10 times. It's more like 20 times because I do a lot of different things at once. So my
Hmm.
productivity is like ridiculous. Okay. But I'm not saying that everybody has to be ridiculous. Like I'm going to build an app today and the sales page, 2 sales pages a day. Most people aren't going to want to do that. Right. But I'm pushing the boundaries and seeing what's possible. But I'm able to do that and I feel totally refreshed because all I'm doing is I'm creating it. I'm thinking, I'm talking, I'm not even typing. I'm talking and I'm saying, well, my AI is named Isaac after the Orville. I'm a huge Orville fan. And so I'm like, Isaac, that's not quite right. Let's look at it a different way. And I'm having these conversations during the day. It's like having a conversation with a team member.
Yeah.
But this team member doesn't get tired. This team member is here 24/7. He runs all the time. And I almost feel bad. I go, hey, do you need a break? So, so that's how I think that you should look at it. It's like we have a program inside AI Collective called You Cloned. I've often said many times, it's like, I wish I could clone myself.
Hmm.
Well, now you can. And that's what I would like a business owner to really grapple with. It's not a replacement. They're not I believe you me, I spend most of my time when I'm talking to Isaac going, in fact, right before this call, I'm saying, Isaac, it's not quite right. You need to relook at my Benson copywriting files I sent to you and relook at my book and think through this a little stronger. These aren't really compelling. So I have to think like a copywriter, but Isaac can do the work. And then he comes back and goes, what do you think of this? I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. That's really good.
Hmm.
That's a whole angle I didn't think of. And he corrected the other stuff. And then, so it's like a collaboration. So no one's going to be replacing me because no one else is going to be able to ask those questions if I was an employee. We need to come up with a presentation for the so and so board. And it's meeting next week. And you're like, could I show you something tomorrow morning?
Hmm.
And you're like, sure. Yeah. Well, I'll show you three different leads and different looks and everything. We'll show it to you tomorrow. Well, that's what's I could show it to you in like in 10 minutes, but that's the point is
Mhm.
that, like now your team can do things and they can, if tomorrow morning is wonderful and they're like, okay, great, I can leave early today. So it's a totally different way of looking at business. Like it's all about like, do you want to spend more time, the same amount of time working and just really increase your revenue, or a lot less time working and keep your revenue roughly the same? But that's really what it comes down to. And if your employees, like if you're barely getting by, you may need to cut somebody. That may be an unfortunate necessity, but that would be true with or without AI. So it's not like,
Right.
oh, I've got AI now, I've got a team of 100 now, I've got a team of three. I mean, I know that there are people who are doing that. I don't think that that is the best way of approaching it at all. I think
Mhm.
a much better way of approaching it is to train everyone with this, and maybe some of the team will be like, oh, but you've also empowered them to go off and do whatever they want to do, and
Mhm.
that's. See, the world gets a lot better if you think of it this way. Oh, you're fired. It's like, hey, what can we'll keep you on. What can we help you learn in this and help you go to your next level? And then obviously give them a great glowing report if they do it, right? So
Mhm.
there's a lot of different ways of looking through this, but I think that's the healthiest.
Perfect. All right. Could you also share with our listeners, John, what's the one online resource, tool, website, or application that you cannot live without in your business?
I'll be a little self-serving here. There's two I can think of. One is what we do, and it's free. So if you go to freebuyerprofile.com, it's the name free is in the URL. This is I think the most important thing you can do from a marketing and copywriting point of view. So think of marketing and copy as just the words that you use to sell whatever you're selling, right? We found that over the years as a copywriter, that the copy that I wrote that converted the best was the copy that I wrote that I was the most attached to ethically, morally, value based. I would write in the fitness world, so a lot in the fitness world. So I came from a background of being incredibly unfit, then being incredibly fit and competing in
Mhm.
bodybuilding, and so going like extremes, and I obviously lost weight and all that kind of stuff. So I would be able to talk about this from this visceral, emotional point of view, but also rational, logical, and ethical. So all my values were aligned in this way. So free buyer profile helps you align your values that you currently hold or your business values with the people that most need to hear them. So when they read your message, they go, "Oh, that person gets me." And that's who
Mhm.
you want to do business with. So I would rather say sell to 10% of the audience you're selling to, but make that 10% message resonate with almost 100% of people who read it. Well, you'll get more customers if you just do the math on that. But your customers will be people that will just be raving about you, as opposed to
Right.
that tire kickers and refund guys and girls. And you don't want that kind of stuff. You want a business that you look forward to. So that's super imperative, I think, and that's free. It gives you a 15-page or so report that you can use immediately. You can put it to use
Mhm.
with AI, or you can put it to use with HI. It doesn't matter, human intelligence. The other tool is, and this may sound really like kind of, I mean, I would say, Claude code running in our system that we have set up here is indispensable for me. But a simple tool that some people don't know about yet, that they should know about is Whisperflow. I use Whisperflow every single day, and I fast like over 100 words a minute, and now I don't type anymore. And just taking typing out of the equation for me, it's not just oh, I don't want to do this. It's that people they rattle off ideas like I'm rattling off now, and I found Whisperflow to be the best way to do that instantaneously. Just press a key and boom, out it comes. And so you take out I'm a big believer in removing the friction points that create going from point A to point Z. So everything we talk about is like, okay, how can I make this go faster? And then once it's done, what do I do with it? Because a lot of people
Right.
create things and they sit there on their hard drives for 3 months, right? Well, I bought a course. If I can give you just one little take, this is awesome. I bought a course last night. I didn't even buy it. I sent a message to my CMO and said, "Hey, I saw this ad. Go buy this course. Obviously with the company credit card, and then when you're through with the course, give it to Isaac." And Isaac was able to go log in as me, download all the materials, synthesize the entire thing, give me a one sheeter and give the entire team a four sheeter. And here's the exact plan to implement it. First of all, I judged it whether or not I should do it or not. And said, yeah, based on what this is a really good course. I know you should totally do this. Here's the plan and here's everything you need to know right now. So I downloaded that course in 18 minutes.
Wow.
Now, that was a 6 hour course, and I never would have opened it. I can tell you, I've got like dozens of courses sitting on my hard drive that I've never gone through. Isaac's going to go through every single one of them. So now I'm going to get all that knowledge. And so I think of like if you talk about tools I can't live without, I gave you three. Sorry, like one of them is two of them are our stuff. Well, I not our stuff. Claude Code is I use a stack that we create that we help people create. But yeah, that stack together is that's you see where we're going. I mean, you can synthesize
Yeah,
knowledge much faster, and that frees up my time. My wife is happier. So
I'm
it's
sure. All right,
yeah.
brilliant. Okay, John, can you also share with us maybe one or two books that you've read? Hopefully, ones that you've actually read, not that Isaac read and gave you some
Yeah, I
information
know.
on.
I still read, yeah. Yeah.
Could could have been a book you read a very long time ago, or even one that you've
Mm.
read recently that you believe has had a positive impact on you.
Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, I was a philosophy major, so I read a lot in college. Deep Thoughts of Unemployment, but I was also very much into literature. So, The Brothers Karamazov, by Dostoevsky. That sounds really lofty, but it's really one of the greatest works ever written, in my opinion. My wife is
Wow.
Russian, so I'm a little biased. I studied a little bit of Russian literature. Walden by Henry David Thoreau, and if I had to pick another one, like a more of a self-help kind of thing,
Yeah.
um, I am still a huge fan of Anthony Robbins. I think Anthony Robbins is a genius at distilling a ton of information in a way that makes it excitable and fun. And I worked with as a partner Dean Graziosi, his partner now, and I just know that these guys are just really, really good at what they do. So basically, anything Tony's ever written would be on my list of things. He's a great synthesizer of knowledge.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. So we'll have the
Yeah.
links to those books in the show notes of this episode.
Mhm.
Can you also share with our listeners what's the one thing that's going on in your life right now that you're really excited about? Either something you're working on to develop yourself or your people.
Well, I mean, yeah, everything I'm doing with Benson is the most exciting, and with the what we call you cloned, which is the AI stack I'm telling you about, the one
Right.
that I named Isaac, that my clones, in other words, that's super exciting, and it's exciting not because of the monetary thing is nice, but where it's exciting for me is the ability to, like I said, have fun in front of a laptop or desktop and just be creative because
Yeah.
now a lot of the roadblocks to creativity are just removed. You can create faster, and then I can say, I want to, you know what? Let's just turn this into an app. And it's an app I can sell. I'm thinking as an entrepreneur, but also I'm like, I just want to have it. And I can think through these things and I can build it, or let's turn this into this, or let's do this. Um, that's super exciting to me. It's such a cool time to be alive. I know there's a lot of concerns and ethical concerns, and there should be around AI, especially AGI. But as far as using it as the way that we do it, as a way to, accelerate your life, this is, yeah, it's a lot of fun right now to be in the environment.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Now,
Hmm.
our listeners would have tapped into this episode, John, and they're quite intrigued with your journey. They're quite intrigued with your organization and what you're doing, and
Hmm.
they would like to follow you online. They would like to connect with you online. Where's the best place that they can find you online?
The best place is if you go to bnsn.ai. That's our home central.
Hmm.
Facebook, I'm on Facebook. I'm not too hard to track down. I have a YouTube channel. If you go to jonbenson.com, Jon, by the way, benson.com/YouTube. Yeah, we try to make everything really obvious, and that will redirect to hundreds of videos in copywriting, persuasion, ethical marketing, and AI, obviously. And so those are really good places to connect. So yeah, I'm
All
I'm
right.
there more than I'm anywhere else.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Hmm.
Now, before we wrap our episodes up, we always like to ask our guests, could you share with me if you have a quote or a saying that during times of adversity or challenge, you'll tend to revert to this quote? If for any reason you get derailed or you get off track, the quote kind of helps to get you back on track. Do you have one of those?
Yeah, and it's not I have quite a few, but there's one that sticks out again. Go back to Thoreau and Tony Robbins of all the weird connections.
Yeah.
It's the quote that I heard Anthony Robbins say on the way to my only corporate job, the only job I ever had that was in corporate
Mhm.
America for 6 months. And I'd read the book Walden in college, and I knew the quote. but the way he said it stuck with me, and it's the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation.
Mm,
And I vowed to myself, I never want to lead a life of quiet desperation. And that just, I mean, Thoreau to me is like one of the greatest writers ever, but that painted this picture of so much of what I was seeing in the world, of just people
yeah.
being quietly just desperate and afraid and terrified of just living. And I'm like, no, I want to strip all that away and just live to the bone, so to say. So that one is the one that gets me motivated.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, John, for taking time out of your very busy schedule today and
Mhm.
hopping on our podcast and sharing all the great insights that you did with us about, the human element, what AI is doing, how it can help to, change our lives. The
Mhm.
fact that the human element is still very critical, because there's still things that, as you mentioned, I like the term that you mentioned that the HI, can never
Okay.
fully replace the AI,
Right.
or I
Right.
should say the vice versa. The AI can
No.
never fully replace the HI.
No.
But I really enjoyed our conversation. And I hope that you were able to enjoy it as much as well. And I know that the information that you shared here with us will be of great value to our listeners
Mm.
because, we're in that space now where people are trying to gather as much information as possible
Hmm.
to figure out, how they're going to enhance themselves to ensure
Hmm.
that they stay relevant or even their businesses to ensure that they're actually creating that value for their customers in the best way possible. So I really want to thank you for taking the
Mm.
time to share with us today.
Thank you, Yanique. It was great to be here. Nice to meet you as well.
Awesome. Just want to remind our listeners that you can follow us on X at Navigating CX and feel free to join our private Facebook group, Navigating the Customer Experience Community. Until next time, I'm your host, Yanique Grant.
Thanks for listening. For more awesome resources to take your customer service game to another level, head over to navigatingthecustomerexperience.com. See you next time.